For large-scale operations, this can easily total in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. New lighting, HVAC, dehumidifiers, heat curtains, controllers not only can cost a fortune, but are expensive to operate. This is just the unfortunate reality of running a grow facility, but not anymore. If you've heard of a company called Green Rebates, then you already know what I'm talking about. Green Rebates changed the entire indoor cultivation industry seemingly overnight. They are the leading rebate and incentive management company in the US, and their sole purpose is to get you paid for the purchase of new grow equipment. Not a loan, real cash paid to growers. To date, Green Rebates has put more than $75 million back in the pockets of growers all across the nation. It doesn't matter if you've just purchased new equipment, are planning an expansion, opening a new facility, or maybe even just waiting for the economy to turn around before making any purchasing decisions. If you're a grower, you need to call the team at Green Rebates. They run an in-depth review of your facility to find all applicable equipment and energy rebates, and can connect you with every leading product manufacturer to find the right fit for your needs. Then they show up with a check. It won't cost you anything to find out how much money is being left on the table. Money that you can use to grow your business. Call Green Rebates, tell them you heard about them on the Cannabis and Tech Today podcast, and get ready to get paid.
Welcome to another episode of Cannabis Tech Talks presented by Green Rebates. I'm here at MJ BizCon. My name is Mary Jane, and I'm sitting here with Dylan Collins from Green Rebates and Bob Gunn from Seinergy. How's it going, guys?
Wonderful.
Amazing. This is a huge event for you. You are sponsoring not only this booth, but another booth and much more, and I want to get into all of it. But first off, how is the show going for you? How are you feeling?
Really great. Tired as ever. It's always a grueling experience. You know, everyone knows when you come to these shows that it doesn't stop when the show ends. So
I did hear both of you when you sat down in the chair, you both eased yourselves into the chair with a little sigh. It's a lot. It's a busy time for you. And I think that you have a big announcement to make, right?
Yes, absolutely. We entered a deal or finalized a deal for Green Rebates to acquire Seinergy on the day before the show started, so Tuesday. And now that is effectively executed, and we are super excited about the future and what will come of all that. It's very exciting for us today.
So can you just tell everyone who's listening a little bit about how your business model works, what Green Rebates does, and what Seinergy is going to bring to this merger?
Absolutely. So Green Rebates is a rebate management company. What we do is help growers, help manufacturers and suppliers take full advantage of utility rebates that are available nationwide. We're heavily focused on horticulture and cannabis, and we do our best, and I would argue do it very well. We make the process as pain-free and seamless as possible for the growers and the partners that are supplying the equipment, and we make sure to find as much money as possible and maximize the rebates that the growers are getting in order to help everybody, to lower their capex, to help make their lives easier and put as much money in their pocket as possible. Bob has a very, very similar model. He kind of laid the, how do you say, the foundation, the groundwork for rebates and horticulture and cannabis specifically. So there's a lot to be said there. It's kind of a full circle thing. I'm sure we'll get into that. But his capabilities, his expertise, his network connections is perfectly synergistic, no pun intended, with ours. And so it's really a natural fit. It'd be harder to say what doesn't work than what does work.
Seinergy.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about Seinergy specifically and how it's that sort of efficiency in all things?
Absolutely. Yeah, I started my company, I come from the electric utility sector. for the last 15 years or so, based in Washington State. I learned enough about how utilities value energy efficiency, how they pay for things, what the value is to them, what the regulators and evaluators look for in custom energy efficiency applications. And in 2014, when cannabis went legal in Washington and Colorado, I was a young entrepreneur having left my utility job. I started talking with cultivators. It was my first entree into the commercial cultivation side of cannabis. And it became widely apparent to me that growers didn't understand utilities, which is not uncommon. Very few people understand utilities, especially the energy efficiency side, but they weren't talking to them and they didn't know that they had anything to offer or a curiosity about how people are using energy. But sure enough, the utilities wanted to help them save energy by offering incentives to offset the upfront cost of more efficient lights. Back then, it was going from single-ended to double-ended HPS. And then a year later or two, it was going from double-ended HPS to CMH or single-ended HPS. You know, we were replacing a lot of fluorescent lights with CMHs and higher efficiency. LEDs, there were some early LEDs in those days, but it wasn't really until I'd say 2017, 18 that they became more acceptable. And you know, there's no looking back. After about 2015, there was no looking back. I tried many different things, financing lights, but really doing energy rebates as a service to clients to allow the salespeople to focus on technology and lighting designs and supply chain, and let us focus on getting the utility relationship and the money pre-approved for growers so that they could have confidence in buying their equipment. We started doing that over and over and over. And then Dylan was an early client of mine, working for a lighting company 6 years ago. We met at this show, and we hit it off. We did a lot of deals together in those days, and then since then he's entered the market doing something very similar. I'd say maybe with a stronger emphasis on partnerships with other lighting companies, and we come at it differently, but doing a lot of the same thing, and we do serve the same customers. So that's where it really makes sense to come together, and this show has been very exciting. It always feels like a family reunion a little bit, but now a lot of folks say, oh great, you know, our salespeople, some of them work with Dylan's team, some of them work with you, now we don't have to choose, and you know, not to make a short story long, I feel like we're going to take the best of all worlds, best of everything we bring to the table, and you know, reach more people and be able to spend more time with customers, you know, get them what they need for the rebate, and looking beyond energy rebates to other energy-related opportunities that I'm very excited about bringing to market as well.
It's amazing to think about the developments in lighting just since I started writing about cannabis. I remember seeing a famous picture of like a bunch of grow houses in Amsterdam. It was like, spot the one that's a grow house, and it was just like melted snow on the roof. Yeah. And that's really no longer the case so much, but you still are really able to change a grower's outlook on, you know, their energy bill through what you're doing and encouraging them to use LEDs, for instance, instead of like, are metal halide is what you were talking about, the MH?
Yes. Ceramic metal halide or metal halide and high pressure sodium. That's older technology. It's tried and true, but I think it's kind of like the transition from an internal combustion engine to electric. There's some growing pains. You need to change your recipes and your habits a little bit, but I'm convinced you can get there. I can't coach a grower on how to do it, but I can lean on the technology providers to say this is possible, and we'll help them figure out the money and the cash flow side of things. But yeah, there's a lot to be done.
Are you both very highly efficient people?
Yes. Well,
depends on what you're talking about.
So.
But for the most part, I would say yes.
Yeah, in business, obviously,
yeah.
But do you also find yourself applying techniques from your business to your personal life?
Absolutely, but I'm sure if I thought about it, I could identify a few things that I am not efficient at.
Well, so you talk about energy efficiency. Is it only lighting, or do you talk about other things as well, or time efficiency, or waste, or any of that sort of stuff?
I think that's something both our companies has done really well. It's going beyond just the low-hanging fruit, the lighting, and really going to bat for the customer and identifying as much incentive opportunities or as many incentive opportunities as possible. That includes HVAC, dehumidifiers, controls and behavioral stuff sometimes. In greenhouses, there's actually, the list starts getting very long.
Filtration systems and all that sort of stuff?
You can pumps for irrigation systems. There's some places where there's water usage stuff that you can take advantage of, but for the most part, gas-related incentives, which include things like boilers, heat curtains, and light deck curtains, actually, IR film on greenhouses, VFDs. Like we would waste too much time if we went through everything that could actually be rebated. I think that's the interesting thing that both of us kind of had to overcome over the last years. I felt like when Bob and I first had that conversation, it was very much a light bulb moment for me. It's like, how is this thing and how do people not know about it?
Right.
I am a career salesperson with a horticultural background. I've been in the industry a long time. And I think that's probably, it's very interesting. Bob and I were looking to solve the same problem from very different perspectives, which I think is one of the reasons why this coming together makes so much sense, and it's really exciting for me. But I come from a business, very much bootstraps entrepreneurial guy that's been in sales related roles almost my entire life. And when you hear that you have this product that you're trying to sell, and there's somebody willing to just eliminate 90% of the cost to your customer, or in crazy situations, 100% of the cost, you're like, wait, what are you talking about? In what world can I give stuff that I'm trying to sell to my customers for free? That doesn't make any sense. So I was like, wow, no, this can't be real. And then we dug into it. I was like, this is the most amazing thing ever, which is basically what led to me ending up where I am. It at the time, almost wholly unknown opportunity for cannabis growers, which hold a special place in my heart. And we don't have to get into the nitty gritty but there's a lot of factors that make rebates for cannabis growers very unique and a very unusual, or an opportunity that exists with rebates that it's far more significant than any other industry or business type, because of the fact that cannabis growers use such high intensity lights, such high watt lights, need such high watts per square foot to achieve their goals. It just results in them being able to get really, really large amounts of money for their equipment. And so after I really decided to dive in head first. I think the first 4 years was just trying to get people to listen to us and be like, there's this thing, you want it, trust me, it's free money.
Right.
It's a thing. I know it sounds crazy, but just believe us.
And in so many regulated markets, it costs so much just to grow a pound of cannabis in the first place. I mean, regardless of the all the equipment and everything, just the permitting and taxing and regulation is already costly. So I imagine this would be a boon to anyone who's really struggling under some of those regulations and feeling like it's too expensive to really do the thing that they want to do.
Well, and that's one of the many things, like I said, where if we really got into the nuances of how insanely huge the opportunity for rebates for cannabis growers is, for all the different variables, cannabis growers from day one and still today have had very trouble getting access to funds, to capital. They can't go work with regular banks. They have all these issues that they have to overcome, and so they've always had a challenge getting money. And here we are with an opportunity to get a huge amount of your CapEx costs completely eliminated. And it does not surprise me that a lot of people initially were like, this is too good to be true, I just don't believe you. Well, finally, I think we've overcome that for the most part. Yeah. Wouldn't you agree?
I think so. I mean, you mentioned energy costs as it relates to cost of operating business. Next to labor, energy cost is probably your biggest, next to labor, it's maybe your biggest or second biggest expense, cost of goods. And when weed was selling for $1,800 a pound, I don't think anyone really cared about their energy bills because they're maybe profiting $1,000 a pound.
Right.
But if and I don't want to put too sharp a point on it, but I'm confident that a grower can save $150 per pound in energy by making the efficient decisions, by switching to LEDs, high efficiency dehumidifiers, and scheduling around peaks. They can save hundreds of dollars per pound, and in many cases that might double their profit margins, or it might be the difference between breaking even and making a couple $100 a pound. So contextualizing that is really important for growers. That's part of what we're trying to do, and showing them the economics. But of course, at the end of the day, that usually means making an investment, which is an upfront cash flow. Plus, when you talk to someone like us who can help outline the cash flows and remove those barriers.
Right. Well, when is the time for someone to come to start working with you? Like, do they have to do it from the outset? Can like a huge operation come and say, we're looking to save a lot of money, but we don't have the investment to change over?
Better. It's really never too early, and it's often too late. I mean, I've had 100 jobs probably that have left hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table because despite us saying you got to apply 3 months before you're going to buy these things, they do it after the fact. And many times utilities have pretty strict rules about needing to demonstrate that they were involved from the outset of a project to show that these incentive dollars influence their decision, and that's pretty common. So it's not almost never too early. Sometimes it's too early to apply, but more often than not, it's best to apply. The utilities reserve those funds, and that often will give you even a 12-month or 24-month window to complete your project, and that's something that the finance team can sort of bank on, if you will.
Right, so before you plant the seed, look you guys up.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you could go a step further and say it's never too early to contact us.
Yes.
Because the reality is, if you're even just starting to plan a grow, like say you haven't picked a facility yet, and you're looking for land, you're looking for a building, a lease, whatever, it's very possible there are legitimate scenarios where if you pick this facility, you get no rebate. You might be able to pick a facility 4 blocks down and get 75% of your equipment capex covered. So like for me, when I think about that, you're going to make a huge investment in this business. There's a lot of cash intensive things that go into just getting a grow into the initial stages of licensing and all that. And just your address could determine millions of dollars in costs that you're going to get back.
That's not an exaggeration.
Yeah.
There's some parts of Southwest Michigan where this utility pays up to $50,000 a year in incentives. This one 2 blocks away is up to $2 million a year. And I've had people say, "Why didn't you tell me this 6 months ago?" That's why we try to get out and talk about this, and we have been for years. But it's a little counterintuitive, but that's why we hope people lean into us as trusted energy advisors to help them. We want to execute that rebate when the opportunity is there, but there's a bunch of other things in the energy realm that we think will make a difference if you just lean in or take time to have the conversations.
I love how jazzed you both are about the work that you're doing, and it shows in this booth, which is very fun. It's been really high energy. Everyone has been here having a great time with the arcade games that you provided, hanging out and shooting the breeze with you over at the Efficiency Pays booth, and we've had so many people come through and chit chat with you. Have you had any highlights of this show in particular? Any moments that stand out for you? Or you?
Well, I mean, I guess you could say it was the very beginning of the show. It was during setup, so the show hadn't officially started yet. But obviously, the deal getting inked with Bob will forever be the highlight of this show. We've definitely had some fantastic moments here in the booth and at our booth across the way. I think earlier today we gave away $100,000 in lights.
Wait, say more about that.
Yeah, well, in partnership with one of our partners, BFT Supply. We had a grower come in, and he had one of our Emerald tickets that BFT gets. He came over to the booth, we ran an estimate from him, and the grower got $100,000 in free equipment from BFT, which includes grow lights. He also got a pallet of Grodan for free, a whole pallet, and one of our custom Revelry X green rebates bags. So overall, the total of the free stuff that he got just by coming and talking to us and BFG was literally over $100,000. The other exciting element, we've been giving stuff away for free. It's very tongue-in-cheek, of course. Like that's just, we're trying to make the point. That's what we're here to do, is put things, money, free stuff in people's pockets. All show. We had over 250,000 or 200,000, close to $250,000 in equipment that we're giving away over the course of the show from our partners. Things like seeds, Royal Gold soil, dab pumps, dehumidifiers, a lot of grow lights, Revelry bags. So just tons and tons of prizes. And a free arcade. We have actual classic arcade games that are free to play. People just come, win tickets, exchange them for free stuff. And it's our way of kind of making the point, like, this is what we're here to do. We're here to get you free stuff. We're here to get you free money. get you paid. But at the same time, it's also just a very fulfilling way for me to give back to the industry that we care so much about. And, you know, growers, yes, of course, growers are the heart of what we all do here. But also it's interesting because our partners we work very closely with, and, you know, are big, obviously the suppliers are a huge piece of the chain. Give them some fun, free drinks. We've had happy hours in our meetings. They've all been very appreciative. They win the prizes too, they play the games. So we're trying to bring some life back into this trade show, which can be very exhausting. Free prizes are a great way to do that. We're just really here to have a good time and to share the love and, you know, give back a little bit by doing what we do best.
Yeah, I love that you use the word fulfilling, because it really must be, you know, like just giving back to the industry and the community, and, you know, and building a future with people who want to enter the industry but didn't see a way to be able to do that because the point of entry was too high. So it's really cool to talk to you about this too.
Well, I like that you're giving stuff away for free, Dylan. It's a very physical manifestation of a sales perspective I like to embody, which is adding value first.
Yes.
And, you know, we've been educating, and I mean, for every 3 conversations I have, one job turns into a transaction, but I don't really consider it a loss if we can educate people on utilities and how to work with, you know, engage with the utility. So adding value first, it creates those relationships, and that's what we're here for in Vegas, so that when there's a transaction to be had, you know, hopefully they think about us and trust us and remember something favorable, whether it's a physical thing or a conversation. There's a lot of that happening here.
It's been a great time, and you have day 3 to get through still.
Yeah. Feels like it's already been a week.
Oh my gosh. Well, tell everyone where they can find you, both online and social media and all that sort of stuff.
Greenrebates.com, @greenrebates on Instagram. Those ones you can count on.
Great.
Seinergy.com, and we're on Instagram and LinkedIn, and we're posting our things there. It's Seinergy.com. And then the 2 will be linked, you know, easily cross-referenced going forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Congratulations on everything you're doing. I just really admire the work that you're doing, especially as someone who cares about the environment and growers and honestly money. Like, you know, the growers should be able to make money and support themselves, and it's just it's so important, and I think people do forget about it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the origins of what we have were, as you say, that's where it comes from.
They face so many challenges already just being in this industry with all the federal stuff that they have to deal with, and preconceptions and all of that. So, like, any relief that we can provide, in this sense, the cash, the form, the financial relief, we're happy to. And it's like I said, it's fulfilling. It's great. We love doing it.
Thank you so much. This has been a really cool conversation.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. This has been another episode of Cannabis Tech Talks, presented by the Green Rebates. We are at MJ BizCon. I'm Mary Jane. I'll see you next time.
In the world of infused edibles, gummies rule. But let's be real, not all gummies are created equal. If you're looking to make truly tasty infused gummies, Melt2Make can help. Melt2Make is committed to making gummy production simple, efficient, and all-natural, offering gelatin, pectin, and sugar-free pectin gummy bases in a range of flavors. They provide step-by-step instructions, equipment lists, and dosing calculators, so whether you're established in the market or you're just getting started, Melt2Make is the perfect gummy manufacturing solution. To learn more, visit us at melt2make.com.